How you doing, everybody? This is Dana from Masterland Investing. First of all, I want to thank you guys for tuning into this audio. What I want to talk about today is making choices for ourselves. I hear it all the time. I've been guilty of myself. As we go through life, we seem to form an opinion of who we are and what we should do and where we should be at in life. I'm often sharing some of my advice with people, and believe me when I tell you, I'm not perfect. I'm learning every day, and I want to be a student of just life itself and try to be a better person as I go forward. What happens, I think, as we grow up, we start to get programmed from our mistakes, from school, from teachers, unintentionally, from classmates, just from peers in general. And as we get older, we start to form this opinion of our limitations. And I feel like that's the biggest hindrance that we have. What happens with me is as I try to inspire and teach, and I go through life and I meet so many people, many times I try to give them a little bit of what I have to try to change their day a little bit. And so often I don't think they really hear me, and I totally understand that. Everybody's got their choices in life, but I think so many times we're swayed by everybody around us and their opinions. When I say that, what I'm kind of referring to is that we've all made mistakes, and I've made my share of them. But I think as we go through life and we continue to make mistakes, after a while, we start to think that that's part of our limitations. Well, I tried that, I failed. I'm not going to be able to achieve that. I better just fall back into what I know. And I think that's the problem. I speak to people, and I hear a lot of times, well, I can't do that. I don't think I'm able to do that. And I believe it's from our failures in the past. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that no matter what you want to do in life, it's pretty much possible within reason. If we don't listen to people that are negative, excuse me, and we learn to share positive things with positive people and have the right support cast, I really believe just about anything is possible. I mean, I wrote a story a long time ago about people's limitations, and I referred to athletes. And I remember there was a time when they said it was humanly impossible, excuse me, for a person to run less than a 4-minute mile. And forever, that was something that pretty much everybody believed. Then one day came along a gentleman that didn't buy into that belief, and he broke the 4-minute mile. And I believe probably within a year or two, there was a handful of people that actually broke the 4-minute mile themselves. And I want to say nowadays, I think there's kids in high school that run under a 4-minute mile. I remember another time when I grew up, it was probably in the early 70s, there was an Olympic powerlifter champion named Alexeyev. And at the time they said it was humanly impossible for someone to lift over 1,000 pounds. And I remember when he did it, and the same scenario, within a year, I think 3 or 4 people did over 1,000 pounds in powerlifting. So that's just another example of our limitations. We've all heard the story about the lady that lifted the car off the child. And what happened was, I believe that because she didn't let her mind control her strength or her ability, for that one moment in time, she just reacted without being programmed from her experiences. And she did something that was pretty much humanly impossible. I'm sure she hurt herself quite a bit, but that's the point I'm trying to get at. That we form our opinions, and we're really limited in our expression and our going forward because of what's happened in our past, people around us. As far as business goes, it's another experience. I failed hundreds of times, but one thing about me is I'm determined to keep getting up. If I fall 10 times, I'm going to get up 11 times. It's just kind of programmed in me over time, and I think a lot of it I learned because every time I did fail, I was one of those people that would, for a while, I'd shut down, and I referred to as getting in the bed, put the pillow over my head, and not wanting to try anymore. But I also believe in the saying that God helps those who help themselves, and I really swear by it. Every time I decided to get up, dust off, and stop playing the woe is me and go out and get mine, God pretty much put it right in my plate and said, if you want to do this, Dana, it's here for you. Take advantage of what I'm showing you. So I guess this is a short story, but basically I'm just trying to get across to people that no matter what, the biggest failure in your life is not trying. And I referred to it in another audio that you don't want to live with regret. You don't want to end your tour of life, and some of your biggest regrets were, for instance, you didn't tell the person that you loved them enough. You didn't spend enough time with your family. For whatever reason, I see so many families that are dysfunctional. They're separated for whatever reason, and I think a lot of it's just people's fear that they don't want to show that they're human, that they have feelings, because we're afraid of failure. If we say something, they may reject us, and then we're going to get our feelings hurt. But I think that's okay. I mean, that's life. I've had a pretty thin skin most of my life, but I'm learning that doesn't get me anywhere. And the same with trying to take on things I've never done and getting outside the box. And I wish for everybody that's my student at the Masters Land Investing University, whether you pursue land investing or not, I hope at the end of the day, what I try to get through to everybody is that just about anything's possible if you're just willing to try. But not trying is your biggest failure. And I've referred to it before, the 1%ers of the world pretty much control the world. And I believe their mindset is that they're not going to accept failure. If you go through life and you're determined, no matter what, I will not fail, then for me it seems to get a lot easier, because there's no what ifs or maybe I can. You just eliminate that vocabulary in your mind. The answer is no, I will do it. I'm determined to do it, and I will not fail. And I know for myself, every time I've taken that approach, it's not always easy. I'm sure there's a lot of roadblocks along the way. There always is. But guess what? What an achievement when you finally get to that point. You say, yes, I was determined. I wasn't going to take no for an answer, and I achieved my goal. And the same with young people. I think a lot of young people, and it's bothersome, that they have no direction. They've been programmed over life. They really feel limited in their abilities going forward. And it's sad. It's truly sad. And I know I ramble on, but what I'm trying to get to everybody is that, listen, get up, try it again. Don't share positive things with negative people. Don't worry about falling, because that's why we have legs. We get back up. And as long as we keep getting up, then life gets much grander, and we set higher goals. We go beyond our positive limitations. As far as what I mean is this program in our head that we can't. But once we achieve these things that we think we can't, I believe our will gets stronger, our confidence is boosted, and then we're able to turn around and share that with somebody else. I remember a time in the past that I've referred to not wanting to share a lot of my secrets in this land investing business. I really worked hard. I studied for a long time. I failed miserably a couple of times, but because I was determined to get up, dust off, and keep trying it, a lot of times it would take me a couple of years, and I'd get back up, and finally I'd try it. Finally, I broke through. And forever, I didn't want to share it because it was my little baby, and I felt that I worked so hard, nobody else really deserved to know how I did it. Well, there was a time, for some reason, I was talking to somebody, and the subject came up. And at that time, I felt like, well, what the heck? I'll share the story with this person. And I must have spent an hour explaining the whole situation. I pretty much laid it all on the table. In my opinion, I gave him the golden key, the key to the castle, I refer to it as. I gave them all my secrets. And the strangest thing happened. Towards the end of the conversation, this person interrupted me and said, listen, I was great talking with you, but I got to get back to work. And I've never forgot that. And the reason I bring this up is that whether they really didn't care about what I was saying, I mean, they asked me about the business. I put the time in to explain to them about the business. But it's one of those scenarios that at the end of the day, they were limited in the fact that they felt they were obligated to go to their job. And they really didn't hear what I said. And it was just another example of somebody that hears it, but I think in my mind, they don't think it's possible for them to do it. So I might as well just go back and do what I do, and probably not very happy at doing what they do, but they seem to act like they're content with it. And I hope for everybody that you make a decision somewhere in your life that, no, I don't want to do what I'm doing. I want to do what makes me happy. And if it's just spending more time with your children, I've made choices most of my life with business that I've had a lot of opportunities, especially when I did well in the land business at times in my life, really well, that a lot of people came out of the woodwork and there was a lot of job opportunities and business offers. And the first thing I would say is that I appreciate the offer. I'm honored that you're thinking of me and you respect my intelligence to offer me this position, but it's going to compromise my time with my family. So for me, it's been most important in my life that I don't compromise that. And don't get me wrong, a lot of times I get caught in my own little world and I forget. But the most important thing is for us to be happy. If we're happy, then everybody around us is happy. And we can share that and we can inspire. So I'm not going to go on and on and on. I know I have a tendency to do that. I ramble. And people closest to me will tell me that. So I do apologize, but I felt I wanted to share this. And whether it's me or anybody else, it's all up to ourselves. So just think about that and start trying to make decisions that are for you, for your happiness. Because if you're happy, everybody around you is going to be happy. If your relationship isn't working, as hard as that may be, try to come to the realization that maybe it's just not going to work. I've given it my best shot. I need to move on because it's almost like a cancer. If you continue to be in a relationship, whether it's a friend or a partner or a business relationship, work relationship, and it's really not making you happy and you don't wake up excited to get out of bed and go embrace your day, then you probably need to rethink this thing and make some other decisions. I mean, nothing better than waking up and just jumping out of bed and can't wait to attack the day, go out and embrace the weather, go share goodness with people, and feel like you're doing the right thing. I know for myself, that's much more rewarding than all the money I've ever made. I mean, money's wonderful. For me, what I get excited about when having wealth and making a lot of money is who I can help, who I can inspire, who I can lend a hand to and maybe change their day and help them going forward by giving them a little financial boost so it takes that worry away from their life. But what I realized by doing that is I really wasn't helping, I was hindering. Because it's only valuable when you put the time in. If you have a vested interest in something and you really put your heart and soul into it, that's where the value is. When somebody comes along and just gives you the money to help you change, the money will come and go. But it's between our ears. We have to make a decision. I'm unhappy in my life. I want to be happy. I want to embrace life. I want to not want to go to bed because I don't want the day to end. And when I see the sun coming up, I want to bounce out of bed and I want to go embrace the day because that's pretty darn exciting. And that's about all I got to say today for this one. But I hope you enjoyed what I had to say. I hope in some way or some sort it helps inspire you to maybe try to make a change. And believe me, it doesn't happen overnight. I think it's like practice, like anything else, like being good at anything. You got to consistently program yourself, think about it, apply those lessons, go out and share, see what it feels like to inspire, and go from there. And all I can say, guys, is I wish everybody the best. I truly do. I love to see people do well. I love to see people's smiles on their faces. I truly do. And I think you feel the same way. But we all we get in our ruts, and then everybody around us suffers, most of all the people we care about in our family. It hasn't got to be that way. Not every day is perfect. I had somebody in my life once explain to me that, right now the clouds are over your head, but I promise you the clouds will pass and the sun will shine. So if you're having a tough time, please remember, if you just try to change your mindset, the days will get brighter, and they truly will. And when the days aren't so bright and the clouds are over your head, remember, it's only temporary. It truly is. So try to get up, try to inspire, try to embrace your life. We only got one shot at this. So try to make the best of it, and I wish everybody well. And once again, thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button. If you feel like it's worth sharing, then please share. But I'm not trying to be a preacher, which I've been definitely accused of in the past, so I apologize. It's just that sometimes I have things I want to share, and I believe they're worth sharing. So once again, thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful day. Be safe. Go out and inspire. And remember, don't share positive things with negative people. Thank you, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.